The sky over Earth was burning. Red clouds moved like fire across the planet, and the air was filled with the sound of fear. People ran through the streets shouting, crying, searching for shelter that no longer existed. Above the cities, massive alien ships hung in the sky like dark gods. They had come to end everything. For centuries, humanity had reached for the stars. They believed they were not alone, and they were right. The aliens called themselves the Karen Union, a powerful alliance of many races spread across the galaxy. They watched humans grow, invent, and expand. But as humans spread faster than anyone expected, the aliens began to fear them. They saw the wars, the weapons, the hunger for power. To them, humans were not explorers. They were a threat. So the Karen decided humanity must be erased. The attack began without warning. One morning, the skies over Earth cracked open. Thousands of warships appeared, blocking the sun. Cities were destroyed in seconds. Lasers cut through buildings, mountains, oceans. Satellites burned in orbit. Within hours, every defense system humanity had was gone. In the command bunker under Washington, D.C., General Avery watched the screens turn black one by one. "We've lost Europe," someone said. Another voice added, "Asia's gone. Africa too." The general closed his eyes. The room shook as another blast hit nearby. "We are losing everything," he whispered. Far above the chaos, the alien commander watched from his ship. His name was Varun, a tall, silver-skinned creature with eyes like cold glass. "They are dangerous," he said to his officers. "They fight even when they know they cannot win. End it quickly," but humanity did not give up. Soldiers still fought in the ruins. Civilians carried the wounded through smoke and fire. In space, a few human ships, damaged, broken, almost out of power, kept firing back. One of them, the USS Horizon, managed to destroy 2 alien cruisers before being vaporized. It was useless, but it was human. Days turned into weeks. Every continent burned. The oceans boiled in some places. The moon became covered in debris. By the end of the 3rd week, there was nothing left but silence. The aliens declared victory. They sent a message across the galaxy. Humanity has been erased. The threat is no more. But they were wrong. Beneath the ice of Antarctica, deep underground, something had survived. A secret project known only to a few leaders. The Ark Initiative. It was built long before the war, just in case the unthinkable happened. Inside the massive underground hangar were 10 ships, each carrying the DNA of every plant, animal, and human on Earth. When the attack began, a small group of survivors, scientists, soldiers, and families escaped to the Ark. As the world burned, the last surviving president gave a single order: launch the Arks. Humanity must live. The ships rose quietly through the smoke. Hidden by the storm clouds and burning debris, alien scanners missed them. The ships vanished into the darkness of space, heading toward a distant system no one had ever mapped. Years passed. The galaxy forgot about humans. The story of Earth became a warning told to children of other worlds: never be like the humans. They destroyed themselves. But in the cold silence between the stars, one Ark still lived. Its engines were weak, but its mission was alive. Inside, the descendants of the last humans trained, studied, and remembered. They learned about the aliens who destroyed their home. They swore that one day they would return. Their leader was a quiet man named Commander Alaric Voss. He was born among the stars, but he carried Earth's fire in his heart. Every night he looked out at the empty sky and whispered, "They tried to erase us, but we are still here." The Ark floated near a dead moon in a forgotten system. Its hull was black, absorbing all light. No alien radar could find it. For 200 years it stayed hidden, rebuilding what was lost. Generations grew up knowing only one story: the day humanity fell. But as time passed, strange signals began to appear. Faint whispers from the edge of space, ships disappearing, worlds under attack by the same Karen Union that once destroyed Earth. The galaxy was changing again, and this time it was in chaos. Deep within the Ark, Commander Alaric stood before the bridge window. Stars reflected in his eyes. "They forgot who we are," he said softly. "They forgot what we can do." He turned to his crew, faces filled with both fear and hope. "The time is coming," he said. "The day when humanity will rise again." Outside, the engines of the Ark began to hum. The old systems came to life for the first time in centuries. Lights flickered. Alarms echoed softly through the corridors. A signal went out. a pulse of energy ancient and powerful. It traveled far, far across the galaxy, and on a distant world, an alien scientist gasped as her monitor beeped. "Impossible," she whispered. "That frequency. It's human." The day humanity fell was the day their revenge began. 200 years had passed since Earth fell. The stars had forgotten the sound of human voices, but somewhere in the dark, humanity still lived. Far from the known galaxy, behind a curtain of gas and debris, there was a hidden system called Erebus 9. No alien maps showed it. No scanners could find it. Here, among the silent rocks and dying suns, the last survivors of Earth had built their new home, Nova Terra. It was not a large world. Half desert, half forest, its skies were pale blue and its mountains were filled with metal veins. Perfect for building ships. What began as one colony ship, the Ark of Humanity, had now become a thriving underground civilization. Children born there never saw Earth. They learned about it from holograms and stories. They watched images of blue oceans, green forests, and the burning sky of the last war. To them, Earth was both a dream and a warning. The humans of Nova Terra had changed. They were stronger, smarter, faster. Centuries of survival had shaped them. Every person was trained to fight, to think, to protect the colony. They had no nations, no politics, no greed, only one purpose: to endure. Commander Alaric Voss, now a middle-aged man with grey eyes and a calm voice, stood on the balcony of the central command tower. The sky above him shimmered with invisible defense shields. Massive drones moved silently through the clouds, watching every star. Beside him stood Dr. Mira Solon, head scientist of Nova Terra. She was one of the few who still believed peace might be possible. "They still don't know we exist," she said quietly. Alaric didn't answer at first. He looked at the stars, the same stars that had watched Earth burn. "They will know," he finally said. "Sooner or later, the galaxy always finds what it fears most." Deep inside the colony, giant machines worked night and day. Factories built ships from alien blueprints, designs stolen from old battles and improved by human minds. Their technology was advanced beyond anything the Charon Union could imagine, but humans didn't just rebuild their weapons. They studied every alien species that had once attacked them. They learned how they thought, how they fought, how they ruled. Over time, they turned the knowledge of their enemies into their greatest strength. Children in schools learned languages of 10 alien races. Soldiers trained with gravity suits and adaptive armor. Every lesson, every mission, every dream had one message: remember who we are. One evening, the alarm lights flickered red. A small scout ship had returned from the outer rim. Its pilot, a young woman named Lyra Kane, walked into the command hall, her face pale. "Commander," she said, "we found something." The hall went silent. "What did you see?" Alaric asked. "A distress signal, sir. It's from a colony world in Sector 14. They're under attack." Alaric frowned. "Who's attacking?" Lyra hesitated. "Karen ships. The same fleet markings as the ones that destroyed Earth." For a long moment, no one spoke. The room filled with quiet tension. Dr. Mira's voice broke the silence. "We can't interfere," she said. "If they find us, it will start another war." Alaric looked at her. "They already started it," he said. "We just weren't ready last time." He walked to the map table and stared at the holographic stars. "Those people out there, they're innocent. And the Karen will wipe them out, just like they wiped out us." He paused. "But maybe it's time the galaxy remembered who we are." Dr. Mira stepped forward. "If we fight now, we reveal ourselves." Alaric turned to her, his eyes cold but calm. "Then let them see us. Let them know the ghosts of Earth still walk among the stars." That night, the council gathered. Generals, scientists, engineers, and historians sat around a glowing table. The room buzzed with fear and excitement. Some wanted to stay hidden, to survive quietly. Others wanted to fight. "The galaxy believes humanity is gone," said an old man, his voice shaking. "If we show ourselves now, they will unite against us again." "But if we stay silent," Alaric replied, "we become exactly what they wanted us to be: forgotten." Silence filled the room. Then slowly hands began to rise. One by one, the council agreed. Humanity would act. The next morning, the shipyards came alive. Fighters powered up. Engines roared. The largest ship in the fleet, The Horizon Reborn rose from the hangar. Its hull was black, its edges sharp like blades of glass. Inside, pilots prepared for battle. Many had never left Nova Terra before. For them, the stars were both beautiful and terrifying. Commander Alaric stood before them and spoke. Our ancestors died screaming under alien fire. They tried to erase us from history. But they forgot one thing. Humanity does not vanish. We adapt, we return. And when we return, we do not come as prey. The fleet launched silently into space, engines glowing blue against the dark. The stars of Sector 14 burned red. A small alien world called Varin was dying. Its skies were filled with smoke, and its people screamed as the Karen fleet rained fire from above. The ground cracked, oceans boiled, and cities turned into ash. The Karen commander watched from his bridge, his silver armor glowing under the red lights. Finish it, he ordered. Leave nothing behind. The weak do not deserve to exist. And then the stars flickered. At first it was only a faint distortion, a ripple in the darkness. The Karen sensors began to fail. Alarms echoed through their ships. One of the officers turned in fear. Sir, unknown readings behind us. A voice came through static, cold and human. To the Karen fleet! You should have stayed in the dark. And then the humans returned. Out of the shadows, dozens of sleek black warships appeared, silent and fast. Their hulls carried no symbols, no warnings, only the mark of a single blue star, the symbol of the lost Earth. The alien commander's eyes widened. Impossible, he whispered. Humans were destroyed. The first human strike was swift. Energy cannons cut through the Karen ships like blades through glass. Missiles streaked across the void, silent and precise. The alien fleet tried to retreat, but the humans were faster and much faster. Within minutes, half the Karen ships were gone. The rest scattered like insects. On the surface of Varin, the dying people looked up. They saw streaks of blue light in the sky, followed by explosions that looked like stars being born. For the first time, their fear turned into hope. One of them pointed up and said softly, "Angels." But they were not angels. They were humans. On the bridge of the flagship Horizon Reborn, Commander Alaric Voss stood tall, his eyes fixed on the holographic map. All enemy ships confirmed destroyed, reported Lara Kane. No survivors. Alaric nodded slowly. Leave one ship, he said. Sir? Let it run, he said. Let them tell the galaxy what they've seen. The crew looked at each other, understanding his plan. Fear would spread faster than fire. As the human fleet moved into orbit, messages began to pour in from the surface. The Varin people were sending desperate signals of gratitude and confusion. They wanted to know who their saviors were. Alaric turned to the comms officer. Open the channel, he said. A voice crackled through the speakers. This is Varin Colony Command. To whoever you are, thank you. Who are you? Alaric looked out the window at the burning sky and said quietly, We are the ones you tried to erase. The channel went silent. Then the alien commander whispered, Humans? Yes, Alaric replied. Tell the galaxy. Humanity has returned. The words echoed through every frequency, every signal path, every satellite still alive in that system. Within hours, the message had spread to neighboring sectors. Across the galaxy, leaders, traders, and soldiers stopped what they were doing. The name human, a name forgotten for 200 years, was spoken again with awe and fear. In the Karen capital, panic filled the council chamber. Reports flashed on the main screen. Confirmed human fleet activity, one general said. The species was supposed to be extinct. The Karen leader slammed his fist against the table. No, they cannot be back. Destroy them before the others learn. But it was too late. Every corner of the galaxy was already whispering the same thing. The ghosts of Earth have returned. Back on Varin, human soldiers helped the survivors rebuild what was left. The aliens stared at them with both gratitude and terror. They had all heard the old stories, that humans were monsters, that they destroyed everything they touched. Yet here they were, saving lives. A small alien child approached one of the soldiers and asked, Are you here to destroy us? The soldier smiled softly and shook his head. No, we're here to make sure no one destroys you again. In orbit, Alaric stood alone in the command chamber. Dr. Mira Solon entered quietly. You know what happens now, she said. Yes, Alaric replied. They will fear us again. Maybe that's what kept us alive, Mira said softly. Alaric didn't answer. He was staring at the stars. Somewhere out there, he knew, the Karen were already preparing their revenge. He turned to his officers. "Send a message to all human outposts," he ordered. "The time of hiding is over. Prepare for open contact." Lyra looked unsure. "Sir, if we do that, the entire galaxy will come for us." Alaric smiled faintly. "Then let them come. We have been waiting 200 years for this." The fleet turned toward the void. Engines glowed blue once more. The humans disappeared into hyperspace, leaving behind a world of survivors and a galaxy trembling in fear. Far away, in the dark halls of the Karen Empire, Commander Varun's descendant stood before a hologram of Alaric's face. "They should have stayed gone," he whispered. "Now they will see what true fear is." He turned to his fleet. Thousands of ships waited in the shadows. "Find them," he said. "Erase them again, this time completely." But even as his fleet prepared to move, a strange unease filled the room. Because somewhere deep inside, every Karen officer knew the truth. No matter how hard you try, you cannot kill humanity. The message spread faster than light. Humans have returned. No one believed it at first. For 200 years, the galaxy had told a single story, that humans were extinct, wiped out, erased from history. Yet now that old myth was alive again, flying through every signal, every broadcast, every whispered channel in the stars. Across the galaxy, billions listened in silence as the recording of Commander Alaric's voice played again and again. "We are the ones you tried to erase. Tell the galaxy, humanity has returned." The words shook the foundations of the Karen Empire. Meetings turned into shouting. Old leaders argued. Soldiers trembled. For the first time in centuries, the great empire of the Karen felt something they had forgotten: fear. In the Karen capital, a world of metal towers and black skies, the Grand Council gathered inside a dark chamber. Around the table, holograms of commanders and rulers flickered like ghosts. General Tarfin, head of the Karen fleets, slammed his fist on the table. "We must crush them now, before the smaller races rally to their side." Another voice, softer and older, replied, "And what if we fail? You know their history. Humans never stop fighting." The room went silent. Everyone remembered the ancient wars, how humans had fought even when defeat was certain, how they refused to surrender until the stars themselves burned. "Send spies," the Grand Chancellor ordered. "We must know where they are hiding. And if we find their home, we end them again." Outside, the great Karen fleet began to move, thousands of ships rising like shadows into the dark. But not every world feared humanity's return. On planets that had once suffered under the Karen's rule, hope began to grow. Small races, once slaves or forgotten outcasts, whispered to one another, "If the humans are truly back, maybe the Karen can be stopped." Rebel groups that had long been silent started to move. Old communication networks came alive, and across 100 systems, the idea of resistance was reborn. Far from all this chaos, in the hidden system of Nova Terra, Commander Alaric Voss watched the galaxy's reaction unfold on a glowing map. Beside him, Dr. Mira Solon stood silently, her hands clasped behind her back. "They're terrified," she said softly. "As they should be," Alaric replied. "But fear cuts both ways. Some will want peace, others will want blood." He turned to his officers. "We must be ready for both." The control room buzzed with activity. Messages poured in, some from friendly worlds offering to meet, others filled with threats and warnings. "They still see us as monsters," Mira said. Alaric nodded. "Then maybe they should remember why." In another part of the galaxy, a council of minor races met in secret. The leader of the Varen, the same world humans had saved, spoke first. "The humans saved us when no one else did," he said. "I saw their ships. I saw their mercy. They are not what the Karen said they were." But another alien, his eyes cold, hissed, "Mercy today, domination tomorrow. That is how humans work." The council broke into arguments. Some called for alliance, some called for war. No one could agree. And above them all, the stars burned quietly, watching, waiting. Meanwhile, in deep space, the Karen fleet tracked a faint signal, a human probe, floating near a dead star. When they brought it aboard, they found a single message encoded inside. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't a warning. It was only one line. "We see you." The Karen commander threw the device to the floor, his hands shaking. "They're watching us," he growled. "They're everywhere." Across the Empire, paranoia grew. Fleets doubled their patrols. Security increased. Spies vanished. But the fear only spread faster. Back on Nova Terra, Alaric stood in the strategy chamber with his fleet officers. "Reports show the Karen are preparing for war," said Lyra Kane. "Massive ship movement in 3 sectors." Alaric's expression hardened. "Then the storm is coming sooner than we thought." Dr. Mira frowned. "Are we ready for it?" Alaric turned toward the giant window that looked out at the stars. "We've waited 200 years. We're more ready than they could ever imagine." He walked to the console and activated a hologram of the galaxy. Red lights marked the Charon fleets. Blue lights showed the hidden human systems. Slowly, the blue began to spread. "We will not strike first," he said. "But when they come for us, the galaxy will remember what humans truly are." The room was silent, filled with the quiet hum of power. That night, on a moon at the edge of Charon space, a small listening post picked up a strange sound, a heartbeat-like signal. The stars over Nova Terra burned white. Thousands of red lights filled the sky, enemy ships dropping out of hyperspace like falling stars. The Charon Empire had come to finish what they started 2 centuries ago. Inside the human command center, alarms screamed. Screens flashed red. The air trembled with the sound of engines and panic. "Multiple enemy fleets confirmed," shouted Lyra Kane. "They've surrounded the system." Commander Alaric Voss stood in the middle of the chaos, his voice calm and cold. "How many ship?" he asked. "Over 3,000, she replied. Alaric nodded slowly. "Then it's finally fair." Every soldier in Nova Terra's fleet heard his voice echo through the comms. 200 years ago, they destroyed our world. Today we show them what survived the fire. The first blasts hit the outer defense ring. The sky above the colony turned into a storm of light. Massive explosions shook the ground. But this time humanity was ready. Human ships launched from underground hangars, bursting through the clouds like arrows of fire. Fighters, cruisers and carriers, each one powered by engines that glowed with the energy of stolen alien technology. The Horizon Reborn, Alaric's flagship, rose into orbit, its black hull reflecting the flames of war. "Form up, Alpha and Beta wings," he ordered. Lyra's voice followed through the radio. "All squadrons, engage!" Within moments, the dark of space turned into chaos. The Charon fired thousands of plasma rounds, but the human ships moved with impossible speed. They didn't fight like any alien race. They adapted instantly, changing formation, predicting attacks before they happened. The alien commanders shouted orders in panic. "How are they moving so fast?" one demanded. "They've evolved," another hissed. "They're not the same species we destroyed." Human drones swarmed through the enemy lines, cutting through armor and disabling engines. EMP bursts shut down entire fleets. Then came the pulse cannons, new weapons built from alien tech but powered by human creativity. One blast could tear a cruiser apart. Down on Nova Terra, soldiers fought to defend the surface. Alien troops landed across the desert plains, but the humans met them head-on. Commander Mira Solon led the ground forces, her white armor stained with dust and smoke. "They want to take our planet?" she shouted over the radio. "Then let them choke on it." Explosions tore through the sand. Human tanks rolled forward, their plasma guns slicing through alien walkers. In the distance, the massive shadow of a Charon dreadnought began to fall from the sky. Its engines dead, its hull breaking apart. It crashed into the desert, lighting up the horizon like a second sunrise. In orbit, Alaric stood at the front of the bridge, watching the battle unfold. "Report," he said. "Outer ring holding," Lyra replied. "We've destroyed over 600 enemy ships." Alaric's eyes narrowed. "And losses?" 200 confirmed, she said quietly. He closed his eyes for a moment. "Every one of them died for Earth," he whispered. Another explosion rocked the ship. A red alert flashed on the screen. The Charon flagship had arrived. It was enormous, 10 times larger than any human vessel. Its black armor shimmered with strange symbols. At its center stood Overlord Varun II, the descendant of the first commander who destroyed Earth. His voice thundered across all channels. "You cannot win, humans. You are a mistake that should never have existed." Alaric smiled faintly. "Funny," he replied. That's exactly what our ancestors said about gods. He gave the order. All ships, concentrate fire on the flagship. The battle that followed was chaos and beauty. Lasers crossed the void like lightning. Ship hulls cracked open. Thousands of lives ended every second. But still humans pushed forward. They were outnumbered. They were surrounded. But they never stopped. Inside the Karen flagship, Varun too watched in disbelief as his fleet crumbled. They don't retreat, he growled. They should be broken by now. His second officer whispered, They are human, my lord. Outside, the Horizon Reborn flew straight toward the Karen flagship. Sir, if we get closer, their cannons will destroy us, Lyra shouted. Alaric's voice was steady. Then we'll get close enough to make sure they can't miss. The ship shuddered as plasma blasts hit its side. Sparks flew across the bridge. Target their reactor, Alaric ordered. Fire on my mark. The Karen flagship turned to face them, charging its main cannon. The light at its core grew brighter and brighter. Now! Alaric roared. The human ship fired everything. Pulse cannons, railguns, torpedoes, all at once. The combined blast struck the Karen reactor dead center. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the entire flagship exploded in a storm of blue fire. The shockwave rippled across space, tearing through the Karen fleet. Ships lost control. Engines failed. Chaos spread like wildfire. The humans had done it. The impossible had happened again. In the silence that followed, the comms filled with static. Then came the voice of a dying Karen commander. Stop! Please, we were wrong about you. Alaric listened quietly. His crew waited for his response. He spoke softly, almost sadly. You tried to erase us, but you only made us stronger. The comms went dead. Around Nova Terra, what remained of the Karen fleet fled into the darkness, broken and terrified. The human ships drifted silently among the debris, glowing like ghosts in the wreckage. Commander Alaric looked out at the stars and whispered, The Second War is over. But the galaxy will never forget this day. He turned to Lyra. Prepare a message for all systems. She nodded. What should it say? Alaric stared into the distance. Tell them. Humanity lives. In the quiet that followed, Nova Terra's people looked up at the night sky. The stars burned brighter than ever, as if the universe itself remembered the name of the species that refused to die. But far beyond those stars, in the cold shadow of a distant nebula, something else was watching. Ancient eyes opened. A deep voice whispered through the void, Humans. They were not supposed to survive. The galaxy was quiet. Too quiet. The war was over. The Karen Empire was gone, shattered into silence and dust. Humanity had survived again. Nova Terra was safe, but peace. Peace never lasts long. Commander Alaric Voss stood on the balcony of the command tower, looking out at the new city rising from the ashes. Towering buildings reflected the morning sun, and children played in streets that had once been filled with fire. He should have felt proud, but something inside him was uneasy. Lyra Kane walked up beside him, a datapad in her hand. Sir, she said softly, the reconstruction teams are ahead of schedule. The Council wants to thank you personally. Alaric smiled faintly. They can thank the soldiers who didn't make it home. For a moment, they both stood in silence, watching the people below. Then Lyra hesitated. There's something else, she said. A signal. We found it an hour ago. Alaric turned to her. What kind of signal? It's old, she replied. Really old. Buried deep under the ruins of the Karen flagship. The message was heavily encrypted. It took hours to decode. When the screen finally flickered to life, the image that appeared wasn't alien. It was human. A man in an old Earth uniform looked out from the static. His eyes were tired, his face covered in scars. My name is Captain Rylan Hayes, the recording began. If you're seeing this, that means we failed. The control room went silent. Lyra froze. Alaric leaned closer to the screen. This message was recorded 200 years ago, Lyra whispered. The man continued. We were part of Project Dawnlight. We were sent to stop the Karen before they reached Earth. But what we found out there wasn't just them. There was something behind them, something far older. The Karen were only servants. Alaric's eyes darkened. The voice in the recording grew weaker. They called it the architects. They built the Karen. They built half the galaxy. And they feared only one thing, us. The screen flickered again. Then showed strange symbols, circles, lines, and coordinates pointing toward the edge of known space. Whatever you do, the voice said, don't go there. Don't answer their call. The message ended in static. Lyra turned to Alaric. Sir, what do we do with this? He stared at the dark screen for a long moment. Where do those coordinates lead? He asked. To the Perseus Rift, she said. It's outside charted space. No one's been there in centuries. Alaric exhaled slowly. Prepare a small team. We're going. Lyra's eyes widened, but the message said not to. I know what it said, Alaric interrupted. But humanity didn't survive by hiding. We survived by facing the unknown. A few days later, the small exploration ship Echo 1 left Nova Terra. The crew was handpicked, brave, quiet, and loyal. Lyra was among them, standing beside Alaric as the ship broke through the atmosphere and entered the endless dark. For days, they traveled through empty space. No stars, no light. Just silence. Then the sensors picked up something, a structure, massive, floating in the black like a dead god. It was shaped like a ring, thousands of kilometers wide, made of metal older than time. Strange lights pulsed deep within it, slow, rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. Lyra whispered, "What is that?" Alaric stared at it, his voice low. "A doorway," he said. "Or a grave." They scanned the structure. No life signs. No energy weapons, just waiting. Then suddenly the ship's systems went dark. Lights flickered. The engines died. Every screen filled with static. A deep voice, not mechanical, not human, echoed through the ship's comms. "You are late." The crew froze. The voice continued. "We built the current to protect the galaxy from you. Yet you survived." "You were not meant to," Lyra whispered, trembling.